I mean, I can hit it one more time, right? This is everybody. Just in case. Right. Yeah, there was nobody. He didn't get juiced. Oh! 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 Was this what you came for? Was this what you came for? Oh, they're so tanky, dude. What the? Okay, oh, yeah. I don't think they all did. I don't think they all did. Oh! No things yet. There's one more. I think there's one more. There's one more guy. Wait, is that? Yeah, there's still one more guy. There's still one more guy. But this is 2 meatsacks down. 2 meatsacks down only. This is 2. Third one going down? Okay, that's the third one down. Come. Alright, juice. 6 of them. Like 5 rares and 1 magic. Let's go. All great thing, so we can tank it up. Oh! Guys, are we ready? Oh, it's so underwhelming. What is happening? Why are they dropping so few loot? Is this actually bricking it? Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Hey, what is up YouTube? Aeroplane here, and I'm back for another video that's going to be a bit different. Usually I do build guides, but here it's going to be an Atlas strategy. A lot of people have been saying that there's no Atlas strategies this league, so I decided to take the challenge upon myself to make a new Atlas strategy, so here is one. And if you don't already know from the title, this is going to be a meatsack strategy where you're going to be killing meatsacks in your map and dropping a shit ton of scarabs. So what is this strategy? Pretty much, you just go into your map, as I mentioned earlier, you kill the meatsacks and you drop the scarabs. That's the TLDR. And this strategy comes in 2 parts. Firstly, it's going to be understanding that meatsacks can be scaled to drop a lot of loot. And secondly, is leveraging petals in T16.5s to be able to drop an increased number of loot. So the first, so jumping right in. So this strategy, I'm going to caveat, you'll need a good build that is able to, number one, handle very tanky meatsacks, so a certain level of damage minimally, at least like 10 million DPS, if not more, that'll be good. And of course, some level of defense because the maps will be pretty hard. The stronger your character, the more number of map mods you can run, which means you can run a variety of maps, which could mean getting cheaper maps in terms of either chaos rolling yourselves or buying them straight from trade. So that's what I want to caveat straight out of the bat. So what are petals? I think that's something that maybe a majority of people have not interacted too much with, but the main cornerstone of the strategy comes from one of the 8 petals that you can get in your T16.5 maps. And that is going to be the Memory of Disbelief. So Memory of Disbelief, pretty much the wording over here says that the nearby affected monsters will not be able to drop items that can have rarity, which means that all your rares that otherwise you would drop when you kill a rare from a meatsack, it drops 20, 30, 40 rares. All of that can no longer drop. And this causes them to force the loot pool into a specific drop pool. And in this case, we are scaling % scarabs on the map, and they will start dropping a metric ton of scarabs. And something that you may be familiar with is going to be the Allflame of Ethereal, and this modifier has the exact same wording as the Allflame of Ethereal that is going for 2.5 divs a couple of days back each. The strategy that uses Allflame of Ethereal probably costs like a 8 to 9D entry. So instead, I saw that this was on a petal, and this is then going to be a meatsack T16.5 petal fishing strategy that leverages the Memory of Disbelief to drop a lot of scarabs. And there are a couple other memories out there that are okay, things like Memory of Desire to add some toughness, Familiarity to increase quant, and in my opinion, the second best one that you can get is going to be Memory of Panic, and this will allow you to pretty much, when the monster is affected by it, if after you kill it, it'll respawn again and you can kill it again. I've got the one map where I had a combination of Memory of Disbelief with Memory of Panic, and I dropped over 10 Divines of Scarabs in that one map. So that being said, the main strat is still going to be using the Memory of Disbelief, and there are a couple other good ones, and pretty much when you get them, it's just a tiny bonus, but Memory of Disbelief is what makes this strategy absolutely busted. So that's going to be on the petals. For the Atlas Passage and the Scarab setup, that's where I'm going to go through over here, where I talk about the Atlas Passive Tree. This is going to be the Scarabs, this is going to be tree setup. The main thing I'm going to be going for is, of course, going to be all the % Scarab nodes that you already noticed on the tree, all the increased effect of the map, a bit of the rarity on the sides, and of course, all the pack size when it comes to your maps, adding the magic quant on the chisels for explicit map modifiers, and all the Scarab rolls, the Skittering Swarms, and the Amplify artifacts paired with Remarkable Relics to increase the Scarab drops. And that's pretty much it. We're going to be blocking currently. This is going to be based on the economy. This may change in the future, increase or decrease based on the economy. But these are currently what we are blocking on the tree. So I'll put that all in the description down below, so don't worry too much. And one more thing is the favor on the scarabs for cartography, harbinger, ambush, as well as essence scarabs. And then we're pairing it with Sions to be able to possess 5 rare monsters to your maps to add a bit of quant for the meatsacks that are affected by it. For a bit of the Ito altars, that's where what we want to do is we want to clear the map first, and then we backtrack after we've killed all the Ito monsters, taken all the scarabs, and then we juice our monsters. But I'll talk a little bit more about that later, and I'll be doing a live demo in a bit also. For our maps, what we'll be going for is going to be maps with over 70% scarabs, ideally over 90%. That's what I'm going to be going for. So you can see after it scales into your map, you'll see something like this, 136% more scarabs, and you want a decent amount of quant as well. On the map itself, you want to be looking for something over 70% quantity. The best kind of maps that I would imagine would be good for this strategy are going to be circular maps, things like Mesa, City Square, but beggars can't really be choosers. I am currently trying to buy 16.5 corrupted 8-mod maps with higher quant, higher scarab percentage from trade directly. So sometimes I don't get maps that are good for me. So this is just one example of a map that I bought on trade, I think, or maybe I rolled this myself. But yeah, just pretty much any map that would work, I would say, just buy it off a trade. And sometimes I get them at 5C, 8C. They are really, really cheap. And yeah, I would pay up to 20C, for example, for a good map. And on top of that, apart from looking at the quantity as well as scarab rolls, you also want to look at the delirium. That's why we want to slap on the delirium orb onto every map, at least if they are not AMOD corrupted already, to be able to add additional multiplicative quant onto your map to drop more loot when you slap on those meatsacks. Lastly is going to be the map device. You want to be using the quantity on the map device to be able to get additional quantity, because generally you will get a good amount of scarabs percentages. But if you're not doing AMOD corrupted maps, the quantity can be a bit low, as well as the nerfs to quantity on maps in the recent patch. So 8% quantity is good. Alternatively, you can use Ambush Scarab or Kelger for a bit of the Bismuth ore to juice up your meatsacks a little bit more as an alternative potential. So yeah, main thing to note is don't run a map with low quant, okay? Just to make sure. So I'm going to explain the strategy for doing the map, and I thought the best way to do that is going to be running a map itself. So here I do have a disbelief map. As you can see here, I have a petal. You will get these maps about 1 in 5 times on average, I would say. Because there's 8 petal modifiers. Sometimes you get 1, sometimes you get 2. On average, it's like 50-50. So based on the quick math, it's going to be 18.75% chance to be able to get a map with Memory of Disbelief. So 1 in 5 to 1 in 6 maps, I would say, is the rough estimation. So you can go a decent streak without it. I did go a decent streak without getting one for a bit, but it does leverage back. It does come back after a while. Alright, hey guys, apparently in my previous recording, I forgot to put in the scarabs, so this is another map here that I'm going to run the disbelief, and I'll just run you through how I clear my map. So to start off, we just run through the map. We're going to clear all the magic and rares, normal and magic monsters, and we're going to leave our magics behind, rares behind. Like you can see over here, you can see the rare meatsacks. Good thing is that we won't accidentally kill them, so here we are. Just run through. What you're going to be aiming for and looking out for is we're going to try to get the boss room ASAP, and of course kill the Ether monsters, all the normal and magic. And the altar that we want to prioritize is going to be the altar that gives us Scarab Dupe. So now we reach the arena. So this way, once we kill the boss, it will increase our chance at getting non-boss altars that gives you, boss drops X amount of loot. So now more of the altars should be geared towards giving you a better chance at getting the % Scarab Dupe altar, which is the best. Second best will be probably quant, and then the third best will be rarity. So that's what you need to look out for. In terms of the petals, you can see that I'm generating the petals for the Memory of Disbelief. That's the first thing you look at when you go enter the map. Number 1 is to be able to kill originator monsters. For those of you who have played the game, you would probably recognize the originator monsters. And then there are random clusters in the map that give you petals when you walk over them. So you notice them, they have like a light circle with them. And then those will be the petal monsters. So these are the originator monsters, those are the petals. So once you kill them, you see that you gain petals. An example of a circle is over here, you can see, over here on the left. So when I walk over it, I gain a number of petals as well. So those are just some examples. So I'm about to accidentally kill this guy, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful and not accidentally kill the rares. We want to get as many... Oh, so this is quant, this is good. We're going to grab the quant. Over here, we're gonna grab a bit more petals, and we want to clear the map and get the scarab dupe. Stepping over some petals, clearing the normals, clearing the originator mobs. One thing you absolutely do not want to do in the map is die, because you'll lose whatever petals that you've acquired so far. So you want to be very careful not to let that happen. So that's why for this strategy, you do need a decent build with decent defense as well as offense to be able to take down the extremely high HP meatsacks that you can see over here. Just finish out the map. And you can see there's a couple of meatsacks that are left behind, so we will have to backtrack for them, but this is the way to optimize the loot, and you'll understand once you see the loot explosions that we get. For the breach, there's two breaches that are quite good. In my opinion, the fortification one is not very good. Somehow it doesn't drop good scarabs at the end. The normal breach clear is still decent. There's like 4 rares at the end or a unique boss, and the scarab loot at the end is pretty decent. For the hives spawn meatsacks in them, or at least have a very good chance to. I've only had one hive so far with like no meatsacks, but the rest of them really had a lot of rare meatsacks in them. So go in, clear all of them, and they'll drop good loot. Even not in disbelief map, I would recommend clearing the hives if you can in those maps. And as you can see, we cleared most of the map. The reason why we don't want to leave the normal and magics behind is because petals have 2 ways of spend. Number one is activation cost. When you press the petal, it activates and it has a flat cost. In this case, disbelief has a flat cost of 30. So you want to minimize the number of times you hit that button. And the cost of the petal depends on the rarity of the monster. In this case, a rare monster has 10 power, and disbelief consumes, I think, 6 power per. So you kind of want to group them together if possible. If they're nearby, you want to group the rares together, so that you spend less of the activation cost and more of the cost of the petal per monster in the vicinity. This here, I'm just clearing the magic monsters. So you want to manage the petals to minimize. If you have a lot of petals, juicing the magic meatsacks is not a bad idea. If you have a lot of petals to spare, there are going to be some maps where you have like 1,000 petals, and that's perfectly fine to juice. But yeah, over here, I have 2 meatsacks, so I'm just going to juice them up. Let me kill the normal mob here and the normal mob here first. And there's a couple more normal meatsacks in the area. Grabbing some random petals to the side. And yeah, so here we have 2 rares. I'm going to juice them up now. And we're going to kill them, and they should drop decent loot. Oh, there's some more petals here. And first explosion, the specification, and second one. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. There's one alone here. I don't think there's anybody near him that we saw just now. Can't remember where he is. Oh, maybe he walked all the way over. Oh yeah, he's here. Let's see if there's any rares nearby. Oh yeah, there are a couple rares. Maybe we can bring them up and we can do them together. There's one rare here that's dying. I'm just gonna hit it since I have a decent amount. There's one magic, but that's fine, since there was a rare that was gonna die. I may have missed it, but yeah. And not so much loot. I'm not sure if I mispressed it. I don't think I did. And there we go. I'm not sure if those were apparitions. I didn't really see if I hover over them. Those won't drop loot. I have 484 left. This guy is kind of alone, so I'm just going to hit it with him. 414 left. We get some more loot. This map has a bit of a lower scarab percentage, 148. You definitely can get those above 200. Yeah, and you want to scale a combination of quant as well as the percentage scarabs. We got 2 over here. I think we may have one more down below. Was there one here? Yeah, there was one here, right? I think it was pretty fast and it's moving towards me. I think I have more than enough juice, so I'm just gonna petal this guy and the magic and just kill them. And we drop a bunch of loot. It's a good amount of scarabs. I'm going to snapshot my wealthy exile just before I forget, so we can see how much loot we pulled out after. And then there's 2. This is a trickster. It's a bit hard to deal with, but yeah, make sure you just want to tap them and make sure that they're juiced. That's the most important thing. Okay, it's running away. All right, we got a containment. Very nice for the YouTube video. Love that things. Okay, hug to the corner with a trickster mod. So you can see that, you know, you will need some level of damage to be able to take them down, but another Tink, Pandemonium. You do get Tinks quite a bit in some of these maps where you juice them. You would at least get about, on average, 1 Tink for the map. Just keep that in mind. We do have a few more rares below from what I remember. So just keep a mental note of where they are. There's 1 juice one here, 2, 3, 4. I think we have enough juice to juice them all out. Let me just check if there's one more left behind. That is all of them. So it's going to be the last 4 over here. Let's drag the one above. I think there's one above. Or not. Grab the petal. And we still have a breach after that. So just keep that in mind. 3 and a magic. Okay, let's go. Juicing. And now we kill. That was the normal, the magic one, I think. Okay. And boom. Get the scarab explosions. Kind of reminds me of back in the day where you had the, you know, the people to come in and call and you get like 80 divines. Kind of reminds me of that time. And lastly, it's going to be the breach. So we do have some petals to spare. No more meatsacks to go, so we can just juice when we see the rares at the end. Hopefully we spawn some rares at the end, and then we can juice them. Then this is the second best scarab exposure you can get out the breaches. The high fortress drops the best amount because there's a lot of monsters inside. On your first way in... Oh, I have a meatsack here. Gonna juice him. Hopefully I hit it. May have missed that one meatsack. Oh, we spawned 4 rares. That's nice. Ran out of petals. Because we juiced that meatsack over there. Hopefully I succeeded in juicing that meatsack. And the breach collapsed. And we got the explosion. And here's the breach explosion. Pretty mid. We only dropped 4 dominations. So you can see a full inventory of scarabs over here. Let me stash, come back and pick those up. Stash, zone, and then snapshot. Just let me do that real quick. So I snapshotted before the map started. So hopefully when we do a new snapshot, we can see how much we actually pulled out from the map in Wealthy Exile. So as you can see, it's not straightforward. There's going to be a bit of reading, a bit of herding, a bit like a shepherd. And there's going to be a bit of playing around. A bit more active gameplay, not your typical just run and kill monster setup. So now we have grabbed that. Let's do the snapshot. We're going to pull. And over here, that's how much we pulled out in scarabs in that map. So that's 4.6 divines total. In scarabs alone, we pulled 4.4 divines in this latest snapshot where we captured the latest. Ignore that because, you know, I snapshot only 3 minutes of the map. But this is all the scarabs that we pulled out from that one map. So 4.4 divines. So talking about the rewards and what we've gotten so far, I've actually gone and tracked kind of my rewards over time for every of the maps that I've done before and after. You can see the first disbelief map, I pulled out 4.9 divines. The non-disbelief maps average of like 58C, 88C. So somewhere on a non-disbelief map, like 80% of the time, you will pull somewhere between 0.5 to 1 divines. And when you do get a disbelief map, you can see another example here, 4.7 divines. Another one I got, this is with familiarity, 5.1 divines in just pure scarabs, by the way. You do drop 16.5s, you do drop 17s, you do drop currency, like raw divines in those maps. So you can stand to gain quite a bit. Another disbelief, 5 divines, you can see very consistently. This one, I died in the map, so I did lose petals, 2.6 divines. Disbelief with desire, 2.5, sometimes a bit lower. And this one was the jackpot, where we pulled disbelief and panic in the same one. So as I mentioned earlier, panic gives you the chance to revive. And the good thing here is that I could confirm in that one map that I did disbelief plus panic is that I do not need to rebuff a monster that revives. It already retains the petals that it has. So it's pretty much just you petal it once, you kill it, it respawns, you kill it again, and it's done. And then you just get the double the loot in that map, and it was absolutely insane. So here are just some of the examples of the loot that I've got. I think this was the disbelief with panicked one. It's just like a whole screen of loot. And you can see a couple other examples that I have. This is in the same map with the familiarity. I killed like 2 packs of meatsacks. It just dropped a metric ton. You saw some examples alive in the video earlier. So that is what I wanted to talk about for the meatsack strategy. In terms of profit, I talked about that. So on average, half a div to 1 div on a normal map. So that's 80% of the time. And then when you get the disbelief mod, that is where you would stand to gain, 5 div plus in pure scarabs, potentially. And in terms of other notes that I want to talk about is another approach is using originator maps, and that is what Aegon provides in the quest line. So what I've been trying to do myself is once I proc the Aegon quest line, so sometimes it's going to be 3 maps, sometimes it's going to be 5 maps, and that is where you start to see the potential, right? When you do the first map, you do get the originator altar at the end. Sometimes it gives, percent increased scarabs, more petals, more originator monsters, and those are kind of the mods that you're going to be looking for. So as you juice throughout, the next few maps keeps retaining all those originator mods, such that in your 3rd, 4th map, that's where you can start elk and rolling your maps, the Aegon quest maps. They may not be the best layouts, but you get the buffs on them, and pretty much running with it. I've tried 1 or 2 maps, didn't get disbelief, but it's just RNG, right? So they can potentially be a lot more juicy, but it's when you get the memory tear that you get the opportunity to do that. But that is one option to get juicier maps. Another thing to note is you need to read. Don't die in your maps. You need a decent build to do this. And a couple ideas that I've been thinking of, Chad has been suggesting. Rituals do work. I have spawned natural rituals in my map before. They can revive the monster, but I do think you need to repetal them, and sometimes in some of the maps you do not have enough petals to repetal them within your ritual. So I think that it's not going to be worth investing into ritual, or pathing on the tree, or using a scarab, or using on a map device. But that is an idea that you can think of. Another one's going to be a Calgar Bismuth Ore. That's where you can spec 3 points into the tree to be able to get a Bismuth Ore in your map, and these will juice up, add an additional modifier on top of your existing rare monsters, which will affect the meatsacks, and that can potentially increase your loot significantly. That is an okay option in my opinion, something that maybe I'll try in the future. The other test that I want to do is that Allflames have scarcity, so you may want to opt towards alternatives. And I've been thinking of, if the prices do go too expensive, I wouldn't spend more than 10 chaos on a Allflame of the Flesh. Personally, I've been getting at about 2C each, just because I've created a strategy, and back then there was no demand for it, so it was cheap when I'm starting. My map entry cost is 30C, sometimes it's about 15C, depending on my T16.5 map, but the scarabs just alone is just 8 chaos for me to enter. It's exceptionally cheap, and I think this is a good starting point in terms of the ideas about exploring the use of petals that otherwise a lot of people have been ignoring, or just petals XDD and just not explore. And I do think Memory of Disbelief is highly underrated. It is a free ethereal mod in 20% of your 16.5s, and ideas that we can leverage on and use potentially in other strats. So this one I want to cover in this video. Hopefully you liked the video, and like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.